YouTube, it's me, Jack. So, today we're going to be playing the Stanley Parable 2. Oh, the end is never the end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Alright.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Okay.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He
Okay.
sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Well,
And although
sounds pretty
others might
crappy.
have considered it soul-rending,
Yeah.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
The
Something
Stanley
he would
Parable
never
2.
quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say
It doesn't seem like
hi.
anybody's at the
Never in
office.
all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
The body. Stepped out of my office. What does it say? Kept up. I hate Mondays. What are you, Garfield? Alright, let's go. I stepped out of the office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay. Oh, damn, it's right outside. Is that a bucket? Where do I pick it up?
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Bucket, we're keeping this bucket. Can't really drop it anyway. I mean, not like teabag though. Does it say happy 12th birthday, step niece? There's a balloon over here too. Can I throw it? Nope. Alright. Are you over here? Okay, so we can open doors like that. Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay. Did that. Why does it sound like a key? Like I'm hitting like a key on the keyboard. Yeah, there you go.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers. Doesn't coworkers for now. Using slides to assure employees everything is okay. It's supposed to be like satirical. Room closet. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The
Feel what?
broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can
No.
feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
Yeah,
I
fuck
know
you,
how
broom
hard it
closet.
must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong.
Yeah,
This
fuck
is
you,
your
broom
bucket.
closet.
This is
Yeah, it's
your
my damn
companion
bucket.
and lifelong friend.
Yeah,
You
fuck
can't hand it
you.
over.
Get out of
Oh
here.
no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low? Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. Right. Okay, I guess not. This is an odd layout for a building. Executive bathroom. Oh, I'm gonna take a shit. Oh, money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money. Crisp.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You
Yeah,
can't
now
buy
that you
that
say it
sort of
like that,
happiness,
there has to
Stanley.
be
God
some
knows
sort
I've
of.
tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay. Is it Time Magazine? Oh, it is Time. Oh, that's really stupid. Can I throw this bucket? How do I? Where are the controls for this? Uh, okay. I guess we can't throw it. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the boss. The boss. Double doors? Yeah. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yeah, I love the
Even
bucket.
now, in his
Can't
darkest
put
of
down
hours,
the
did the
bucket.
bucket's
Can't put
warmth
down
and
the
guiding
bucket.
light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would,
Oh.
and he knew it.
Oh,
The
okay.
two of them were
Good.
inseparable. At this
Yeah.
point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of
Oh.
simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
No, it's
Was
because
it
you
the
told me
bucket
to.
all along?
Oh.
Was the bucket guiding him?
Whoa.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Sure. Or maybe I am the boss. Maybe that's the plot twist. Oh, here's another
Another
one.
miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley
Yeah,
figs?
sure.
Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Another Stanlerine
Wait,
under
how did
your
I get
belt.
half of them? 3 out of 6. I don't even remember I only remember collecting the second one. Oh, this is a industrial ass looking elevator. Okay, now it just says loading.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay, cool. I like the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the
Oh.
large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Escape. I know there's multiple endings to this. I think we should do the one where, like, what happens if we follow the actual script. Oh. Maybe this is the mind control itself. Who knows?
The lights rose
Whoa.
on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to
It's like
themselves.
a CIA testing facility, I guess. It's like MK Ultra, maybe? Who knows?
The monitors jumped to life,
Whoa.
and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Who was
Everyone
fired?
in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as
Don't
Stanley
cry, bucket
cradled it
boy.
gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Okay, so 104 was fired. It's in here. Okay. Going?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These
I don't know,
questions
man. You're
raced
the narrator.
furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Don't fucking call me dumb, dude.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
This reminds
At
me of
this
like
point,
Portal.
he
You
could
guys
trust
ever play
no
that game?
one
Portal.
except for the bucket.
Oh,
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
it's like
Stanley
Inside
decided
Out.
that this
You
machinery
control how
would
you
never
feel.
again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Mind control vital. Waiting input. Okay, apparently it's that easy where we can just push it off with just the push of a button. Oh!
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
I'm not too sure.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
I don't want
Not
to
while this
leave the
building has
fucking
anything to
bucket,
say
man.
about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad.
That
Stanley
sounds
thought to
awful.
himself, as long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Oh, great. The end is never the... Okay, here we go. The end is loading. Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh.
All of
Is that... Can we keep track of
his
the...
co-workers were gone.
Alright, so we just did that.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we're gonna say fuck the script and we're just gonna go with our own story this time. We're gonna actually do the opposite of what he's doing. So I guess that was the bucket ending.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Okay. Oh.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
We're going
he
right.
entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No. I just want to not do anything that you say. I don't want to do anything you say.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been
I
worth the
guess it's a
detour
little
after
bland
all,
though.
just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley
There's like
simply stood
nothing in
here,
here.
drinking it all in.
Speaking of which, might as well get a drink. Can't get a drink? Do I need money? Yeah, just like, one more second.
Yeah. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Where do I go? Oh, we just go straight ahead. Where do I go?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hey man, fuck you. What about here? Damn, there's just like mugs like everywhere, and they just have the same exact "I hate Mondays" phrase.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Oh, now he's actually
I'm not
talking
your
to
enemy,
me.
really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about
I'm gonna
nothing
jump.
but you.
See you guys.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
Oh, actually, that is
Stanley
exactly
leapt
what
from
I
the
was doing.
platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That funny thing, that's actually what I was trying to go for. I wanted to see if I could try to do it because that wasn't part of the script. Oh man.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nope. And we're gonna take the door on the right.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
I love how
to
he's just trying
admire
to
it.
improvise.
Wow. Yes, this room. But
You are.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Which we're not gonna do.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright. He says, look, Stanley.
Look,
Stop being a
Stanley,
little
I
bitch."
think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in
What if it's
someone
like
else can be
Gladys
difficult, but the
from
fact is
Portal
that
and
the
it turns
story has
out they
been
really
about
are the bad
nothing but
guys?
you all this time. There's someone you've been
It's like the
neglecting,
Truman Show.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
We've been living by a
Please,
script our whole
stop
lives.
trying to make every decision by yourself. Now,
Or
I'm
we've been
not
living in
asking
a
for
story our
me,
whole lives, and they
I'm
like it.
asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who,
She's
man?
been waiting.
Is it my like ex-wife or something that I've been neglecting? I'm guessing. Maybe that's what he was trying to say. He's adding a brand new character. Oh. Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
No,
To
I
reach
don't
out
want to talk to my
her.
wife. She's mean.
If you can truly place your faith in another.
No, I don't
Then
want to
pick up
talk
the
to my
phone.
wife. I like my wife. I'm moving, man. Fuck it. Honey, what's up? Oh,
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Oh, they
Hold on,
actually have
please.
another
Sorry to
voice
keep you
actor.
waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
You're just baking
Okay,
just
there we
bread.
go.
That's it.
All right, now, I want you to come
I've
in
never
and
heard of
tell
him.
me all about
Your day.
Oh, what the heck? Hey,
Gotcha.
screw you, man.
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Oh,
That wouldn't
wow.
commit their life to
Wow.
you? I'm trying to make a
Wow.
point here, Stanley.
That's
I'm
mean.
trying to get you to see something. Come
If I
inside.
move.
Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
At least, no. He really knew I was actually gonna try that. That's mean.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Okay, apparently I die now. Good morning, employee. Press. What if I don't want to? Let me open the fridge. Wife, what's up?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a
Oh,
job that demands
okay.
nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Wow, okay.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Oh, now we're
Now
just
he's
proving his
pushing
point.
a
I don't want to prove
button.
his point.
Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Oh my gosh, do you think he's trying to say like people actually
But
live
in
with
his
like I
mind,
think that's what he's trying to say.
in his mind, he can go on fantastic
It's supposed to be like
adventures.
a satire.
From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands.
Sounds
It was
pretty cool.
wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Wow.
And so he
Watch
began to
TV.
fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss,
He's
everyone
gone.
in the building
And
had
we're
suddenly
gone.
vanished off the face of the earth. The
And
thought
now I was actually
excited
good
him
at
terribly.
speaking the language that I was brought up with.
So he went
Spend time with
further.
the boys.
He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Okay, so basically this guy
Down one
started to
path lay an
fucking hate his
enormous
job.
round room with monitors
So he basically
and
decided
mind
to fantasize
controls.
about
And down another was a yellow
having
line
different
that
choices.
weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it
What?
the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Tell your wife you love
But
her.
there is no answer.
Oh.
How could there possibly be?
Oh,
In
I
reality,
didn't notice they
all
were
he's
putting
doing
in
is
different
pushing the
office
same buttons
supplies.
he always has. Nothing has changed. The
My
longer he
wife's
spends
gone.
here, the
My
more
wife left
invested
me.
he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Oh, that's pretty depressing.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen
This
to
turned
me.
very
He won't stop.
depressing.
Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And
Wow,
Stanley pushed a button.
okay.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Then
tried.
push the button. Oh. Which just happened. Well, it was obviously supposed to happen, judging by the subtitles. The end is never the end. Remember that, kids. The end is never the end. I guess we weren't supposed to do that. So we had the bucket in.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait a minute. We're gonna skip the bucket. I want to see what happens, because I'm not sure if it's just gonna be the same thing, or I'm not too sure.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We're gonna try it. No more bucket. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh, there is gonna be a reward. How can we find them all? Bottom text. Not gonna get that. Oh. Okay.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Oh, okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm gonna go downstairs, actually. I want to see what's down here. Oh. Oh, I'm not sure if I like where this is going.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment.
Is the whole game just like me questioning my
None of it made any
sanity?
logical sense. And as Stanley
I have a
pondered
feeling
this,
the
he
ending is
began
just
to
gonna be
make
me
other
waking
strange
up in like a padded
observations.
cell and
For
like a
example,
straitjacket.
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked
That's what
down?
I'm saying.
Why did
Why
doors
can't I
close
see my feet? Am I
automatically behind him
am I
wherever he
like
went?
some kind of
And for
apparition?
that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the
Oh, they are
conclusion
repeating.
that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
Deja
I'm
vu.
dreaming,
Oh.
he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief
what do I
Stanley
do?
felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh, okay.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all
Lucid dreaming
entered
is cool.
Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and
I don't know,
thinking?
Stanley.
Now
You
the
tell
voice was
me.
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course,
What do we
this was not a
do?
dream. How could it be?
Let
Was
me
Stanley
out.
simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Yeah.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
I'm freaking out. This is actually
He
making
would
me, like,
prove it.
giving me like
He would
severe
prove
anxiety
that he
right now.
was in control, that this
This is
was a
making me freak
dream.
out.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
It's
Let
not
me
gonna
go
be
back
that
to my
easy.
job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my
Really?
apartment, and my wife, and my job.
thought we
All
didn't
I
have
want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be
That's
fine.
not. That doesn't sound like an
I
enjoyable life.
am okay.
Oh, yeah, and we're still here.
Stanley began screaming.
Ah!
Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell
Why
me
is everything
I'm
turning,
real.
like,
I
into
must
a
be
red
real.
hue?
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
This is actually kind of like freaking me out a little
And
bit.
everything
Yeah.
went black.
What? Oh. Wake up. Wake up, Stanley.
This is the
It's
story
just a
of a
drink.
woman named Mariella.
Okay, now we're switching genders.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of
What
work.
happened to
But on
Stanley?
this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And
What?
although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man.
Hey, maybe you should
He
call
was obviously
911 so this
crazy.
man
This much she
doesn't
knew.
die.
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in
Dang.
that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my
Yeah, thank
mind.
God I'm not
I
that
know
dead
what
guy
is
lying
real
on the
and what
lying
isn't.
face down on the sidewalk.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Wow,
Then she
okay.
remembered the meeting she
Mariella's
had
a
scheduled for
scumbag.
that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Leaving the man
And
to
then she
just
turned
die.
and ran.
She turned and ran away from the dead guy's corpse so he could die alone. Wow. What a jerk. Oh, here we go again. That was one interesting... oh. Phone's ringing. Is this the right one? What's this? Alright, there's a, Why is this the only... Oh. Number one down. Maybe not getting the right phone. Where's the phone? There's just a pencil sharpener? Oh, okay. Come on, dude. Oh, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages.
What?
If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message
What if I
into
don't?
your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
What? That made absolutely no sense. What happens if we hit it again? No? Okay. I guess. Figurine Finders Committee. I want to go through there. I want to see if I can go through. Dang it. I'm gonna turn off all these computers. That's why you should turn off your computers so they don't blow up. Okay. And down here. I don't know what I can do.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We're just gonna try the actual ending now without the bucket. Alright. What the heck? Trusting the completionist instinct. Warehouse access plan. Rule out user. We need more planks. Oh, actually, I did see something. Hold on, wait. What is this? Large room, lots of boxes. Stairs, something in the stairs somewhere, both red and blue. What? I want them so much. I want to go home. Who are you? Oh, that's fun. There will be cleaning of this wall required. Stop kidding yourselves. Are these people just going fucking crazy? Possible clue, and it's just like a water slide. Retrieve Chris's remains from what? Produce 1 plank to allow you. Okay, we're gonna try that. We're gonna go to the place that we need to go to. But first, we're gonna try that.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Sure. I'm just looking for anything at this point.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
Is it
indication
just the
of
same
any human
exact
life.
thing?
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who
Why?
orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held
My
from
boss
him?
is getting turned
What
in
he
his
could not have
office.
known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
What happens if I just don't type it? Yeah, this is just not gonna do it.
Yet incredibly,
Ah,
by simply
shit.
pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened
This game's making
passageway.
me boring now. Let's find here. Nothing. I don't see anything. Hold on, I want to see something. Rebind controls so interactions are only press specific buttons. The sequel is now paused. Oh. That's funny because when I bought it, it just said the Stanley Parable Deluxe. Or like Deluxe Edition. Oh, I forgot we have the
Stanley
escape.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, screw that. We're going here.
Although this passageway had the word
I think it's just
escape
the same
written on
thing
it,
anyway.
the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
What? Why am I gonna die in a violent way?
The door behind him
I
was
don't
not
want to.
shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Don't die, Stanley. Don't die. Oh my gosh, what's down there? I just followed my. Okay, whatever. Let's just die. Wait. The end is never the end. I don't know why I keep saying. Oh, I'm not dead. Yay. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and
Stop, I'm
closer
gonna
to
get
his
crushed.
demise, he reflected that his life had been of
No,
no
no, no, no,
consequence
no, no, no.
whatsoever.
Get me out, get me out, get me out.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in
Get
his
me
narrow
out.
vision of
You're the
what this
narrator,
world
you can get
is.
me out.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss,
Well,
like
I'm
plucking the
dead.
eyeballs from a blind
I don't think we
man.
really have much of a
So he
choice.
resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh boy, this is gonna be quite fun. See you guys. Bye. Oh.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly
There's
into
a
the enormous
narrator.
metal
Like the
jaws.
narrator's a
In a
character.
single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine
What?
crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Bye. Oh. Wait, what? What is going on? I'm so confused. What is this? The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
I'm
What
so
exactly
confused.
did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know,
When
but
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
they have like an
Do you see
actual
now?
museum.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Dang, I never thought about it like that. This is the entirety of the map. The two doors. That's pretty cool. Corridor. Office computers. I think one of the people there was playing solitaire. Button sounds. Synthesizer. Huh. Oh, it's the actual like credits. Okay. Boss's office. What's in here? Lounge. Underground. What's here? Narration.
Stanley pushed the big red button.
Kevin Brain.
Nothing there. Shoot. Well, try the other one then.
These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game.
Stanley pushed the number 6.
Huh. Get out of here. How do we get out? Office clock. Okay. Freedom ending. We give it all. Huh. What? Monitor room, elevator. Wait, what? Hold on. I want to see everything first. You know what? Screw it. Let's just go.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Okay. Oh.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Not
No,
really.
perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Oh, okay, now I'm gonna
You
die.
can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
What?
Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it.
Alright, guys, we're gonna stop here. See ya.